Hey everybody, this is Amanda from Amanda's Budgets. I am here to do my usual April budget breakdown, and I'm going to tell you why I'm doing it early. I usually don't post this video until the 31st or the 30th of every single month because I want to make sure that there's nothing in this final week of the previous month that didn't get covered. But I'm not giving myself a choice. This has to be paid because every time I am not on time with this last week and we struggle bus it through and we say, well, we're just gonna add $100 that we owe to space rent into the next budget. It throws everything way off. So I'm not giving myself a choice. So I have been crunching numbers. I have been really sitting down with all of the things that I need to do to make this budget, all of the things do its job, right? So I have my breakdown here, and I'll go over how I broke it down and why I broke it down this way. But first, we need to just go over some of the basics. And I actually left a bill out in this, so we'll just go over it. So we have space rent because I don't own the car, I don't own the space that my home sits on. So I own this home outright. Free and clear, no mortgage. It is a mobile home. So it is in a mobile home park. So I have to pay space rent. This includes water, sewage, garbage, maintenance on the property. So realistically, I actually don't think I'm getting that bad of a deal. My previous rent, just so you are aware, was going to be $13.80 for my apartment. I did have to pay the utilities there, and I had to hurry up and wait for anything to be fixed, including very minor things. It is now fully rented out to someone else. It's officially been rented. It's taken months for them to get somebody to be approved in there. And I believe that they wanted to rent it out for $1,800. My hope was that it was going to stay a lower income unit, so that way somebody else who was in desperate need, somebody like myself when I was getting off the massive struggle bus of hell and I was homeless sleeping in my car, I was hoping that someone like that would go into that unit. But obviously that's not the case. I'm going to take a drink of this because my voice is really raspy. My allergies are kicking my butt. All right. So we have space rent. We have our car payment. This is actually over the car payment. So what I do is I pay the minimum, and then whatever's left over goes towards the principal. There goes my voice again. Credit cards. This is something I want to get rid of, and I'm going to go over a plan in this video of how I want to do that. Utilities. I didn't get my utility bill yet, but I'm assuming that it's around this amount, which is $330. The reason being is because we're still having to run heaters. We're still in the process of weatherizing this house. So I want to go on the high side. Obviously, in the summertime, it's not going to be this. But I also don't plan on running AC units or anything like that. I was going to, but now I just don't think I can afford it. So we're going to get some box fans. We're going to leave the door open. We're going to cool off the house when it's cool at night because we live in the high desert, so it gets colder at night. We're just going to have to cool it off and do the best we can with what we got, because we don't have a whole lot to spend towards utilities in the summertime. That's our break, right? Personal bills. This is mostly a personal bill that I have to pay, well, that my husband has to pay every single month. This isn't an unusual bill. This isn't anything to be like, and now I don't want you to know what this magical bill is. But we want to keep some things personal. So that was one that he just was like, let's make it a personal bill. Then we have our monthly car maintenance that I don't have to have this amount every month, but it's nice to put it in because I do drive for a living. And even if I don't drive for a living, I live in the world's tiniest little town of my area. I'm going to fix my camera because it's driving me crazy. There we go. It was topsy-turvy. But I always try to make sure that I can maintain my vehicle, because something like what happened a few weeks ago where my check engine light went on and it was blinking and my car was pulling. It was not necessarily anything I didn't maintain or do. It just was a sensor that went out. But it did cost me up into the 200s to get it fixed, right? Plus I had to pay to eat lunch because we could not go anywhere. We were stuck in town. And so I also need to prep for emergencies. $40 a month. Why am I doubling car maintenance and not emergency? Because my car is my livelihood. I cannot afford to work in this town. And I actually thought about doing this, and let me know how you feel about it. I thought about walking around to all of the businesses that I know that I am qualified to work at. And I wanted to not show their faces or the places, but get the answer from all of these businesses of how much they're paying an hour and how many hours they have a week to offer. Because I want to be clear about things. And sometimes I don't feel like some of you guys get it. And that's okay, because maybe you haven't had to work a low pay, low wage, slummy job most of your life, or maybe you do and you do understand. I did have a commenter recently, and I am blessed that she commented, because she was like, well, this is the only job I can find. Sometimes that's the case, especially in my area. Sometimes these are the only jobs available. I don't have an education. I don't have a student loan. I am not in debt for any of those kinds of things. I'm literally only in debt to my credit cards, my car, and a personal bill, which is my vendetta. And it's not something like this. It's something totally different that I don't even talk about, and I don't plan on talking about it until we get to that point. The only bill I forgot on this list, and I don't know how I forgot it, is insurance for my vehicle. So I cannot get homeowners insurance. My home is too old. It's a 1966. So they don't deem it worth anything. I can't get renter's insurance on this because my home is not a rental. I own it. Even though I rent the space it's on, it's different when it's a lot rent compared to a rental of a apartment or something like that. I did try to map out my weekly wallet, but I couldn't do that. There was no way. So I did the tallying, and I feel like these aren't big numbers, you guys. Fuel, $95. Groceries, $65. Pets, $30. Household, $20. The boys, $20. My money, $20. Jordan, my husband, $20. Miscellaneous online, if I needed to buy anything. Emergency money in my wallet, because it's different from this emergency fund. It doesn't need to be a whole lot. But I thought, that doesn't add up to too much. Yeah, it does. It adds up to $285. So $630 or $663. This is without my car insurance on here. Plus that ended up being $950 a month. That would be $3,800 a month. So I can't do this plan. This is now vetoed. That's why this is flipped over like this. So then I was curious because I do this budgeting plan every single month. And this is really nothing new, but I just wanted to put it into perspective. But I did end up writing out every single month, or I did the month of April, and this is my bare bones, and then I did each and every week. So I know what my bare bones basic needs to be, so that way I can survive, right? But here's the breakdown, and why I did the breakdown the way I did. It's based off of, do I pay it now in this week, or do I have to pay it by the following week? What weeks do these bills fall under? Well, most of my bills, I have put the effort and time in calling and begging and pleading and getting due dates changed to the proper times that I feel like I can pay these bills. So most of my bills are due between the 23rd and the 30th or 31st of the month. Okay? So I make sure that I have all of this mapped out, so by this week, we're knocking some of these suckers out if we haven't already. So I broke it down by each bill and when they're due. That was my biggest thing. What needs to be paid? How fast can I get it paid? And they're quite a lot. I mean, $751 in the first week of April. That's a lot of money. That's a week worth of income for me. On a low income, that's not a lot. I mean, that's a lot. I have a lot to make. And then I started budgeting out by how many days do I go out and do gig working. Gig working is DoorDash, Uber, Lyft, Instacart, Spark, Rover, GoPuff, all of the different things, Grubhub. And I will tell you, I don't do all food delivery, and no, I don't do Instacart, even though my first year gig working, I did Instacart. It died here because it's no longer the pandemic. People don't have to get their groceries delivered. But the gig apps I do can be pretty decent, as long as it's decent in the economy. But right now, our economy is getting rocked. So, my husband, Jordan, and I want to know, how much do we need to make a day to make this all work? And that's what we try to hit minimally. Minimally. Can't even talk minimally. So, $108 a day, 7 days a week. $98, 7 days a week. $101, 7 days a week. And then $83, 7 days a week. I cannot make that at a regular job. This is a job. It's a real job. I have to sit in the car. I have to work with people. I'm not just going and grabbing and going and grabbing and going, and I'm not just doing certain apps, you guys. I have to have a good customer basis. I am still working with people. Whether it be wherever the client wants something from, the client themselves, or other workings of the system, like support. or other entities, businesses. I have to actually work. I have to manage my time. I have to be out there 8 to 10 hours a day. Just like a regular job. This isn't a regular job, and I get paid to do this. May not be much. Sometimes it's only $100 a month. But this is another side gig. Etsy is another side gig. That's why it's important that I do sell things on my Etsy shop, because without it, you guys, I don't think I can save right now. I don't think I can, because this is bare minimum. This is not including food, gas, or any other expenses. This is just my bare basic bones bills. I'm not here to beg for money. I'm not here to ask for anything. I'm not here to make anybody feel bad for me. This is just the struggle. It's just the struggle. It just is what it is. To put it into perspective, I've been a low-wage earner all of my adult life. I'm 34 years old. At the job that I went on an interview for, that I didn't even tell you about, I went for a non-food position. It was a grocery store, but they have many different entities in this grocery store. They had a deli, they had a pizza place, all these different things. But I don't want to work in food anymore, you guys. I'm retired from the food industry until further notice, because I'm not making it off of that. But this job was $18 an hour. It was going to be a 40-mile drive, one way. And I thought $18 an hour to start wouldn't be bad. I'll be a cashier. I'll be a stalker. But I was told, and this is the sick part about this, I was told that I did not have enough grocery experience in the last 4 years to make this person who did the interview think that I could do anything other than deli or pizza. And I don't want to work those things. I don't want to do it. I'm done. I'm tired. I'm tired of working in food. If you work in food, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about working at a hospital cafeteria. I'm not talking about being a baker. I'm not talking about fine dining. I'm not talking about being a waitress. I'm talking about burger slinging, burrito wrapping, taco stacking kinds of jobs. We're talking McDonald's, Taco Bell, Jack in the Box, Burger King, Arby's, Dairy Queen, Subway. I can tell you I've worked at pretty much all those places. Pretty much all of them. But I'm not going to make it off of $14 an hour. Unless I'm a store manager, which store manager positions are very few and far between. I had to take a drink of this again, I'm sorry. But my throat is killing me. There's not many management positions available that are just like, ta-da! And now we have a management position for you. And I'm not talking shift lead. They don't make jack diddly. Go lay down, Violet. She's bothering me in the middle of this segment here. But I'm not talking about shift leads. I'm talking about general manager, assistant manager. They don't come up every day. Because most of these stores have it together. Especially the Golden place with the golden arches. If you know what I'm talking about. But this job would have been, if I was a cashier or a stalker or something in grocery, would have been $18 an hour. Times 32 hours max a week, which is full time in our area. and then I'd get paid weekly. So that would be $576 minus 26%. Would have been $426. And if I needed $751 a week, so minus $751, I would be in the negative $324.76. After an 8-hour day, most people don't want to go out gig working, especially if you're having to hustle and bustle and lift and work with idiots all day. You're done. You're done. I know I'm done. And if I'm not done, I'm crazy and I'm doing it anyway. But I can't foresee that happening. Now, Mr. Jordan, he was working in a car wash, and for a whole week of work, he got paid $273. So if we had $273 that, we're still short. And he was working full time, you guys. It doesn't pan out. It doesn't math out. And no, most places don't hire your spouse when you work there. They don't. We have worked at jobs where we've worked together and it worked best for our schedule, but it didn't always work that way with every job. He just got really lucky that I was his manager at his previous job. So when we were working the pizza place, I made his schedule because I knew when I needed daycare. I knew when my kids were coming for the week or my youngest son was coming for the week. I knew what his schedule needed to be. Not everybody is lucky like that. And that's the other thing. I only get to see my kids this much because I have to co-parent. I'm not getting the full span. I want to spend time with them while they're young because they're going to hate me soon. That's just how kids work. I hated my parents as a teenager, and I know you did too. It's part of the club. You can become a teenager and you hate your parents. But this is a reality. This is a reality. This is why I choose gig working over that. Because why would I work twice as hard for something that I know I'm probably not going to make? And even though gig working is slow at times, somehow or another, you guys, I still put it together. Some of those weeks, that week of $1,200, that was all gig working. Gig working with a little bit of Etsy in there. So, if you are struggling and you are having a hard time mapping it out, map it out on paper, and then you can finalize it over here. I never put it on here, on these, until I've done this. This happens every single month. I just wanted to show you. But if I did what I wanted to do with my weekly wallet, which was $285, plus this, let's see how much I'd actually need for this week. So $751 plus $285 equals $1,036. Divide that by 7 days. That'd be $148 a day. Is that doable? Yeah, it can be doable. Is it doable right now on spring break? Apparently not. This week's a struggle bus week, but we're going to do what we can with what we got. We're going to get to this, and we're going to finish it off. Even if we're just finishing off the bills, we don't really need to stuff our wallet with all of this spending money. We have plenty of groceries. I am a stockpiler. If you're a stockpiler, then I say good for you. Kudos. If you can't do that, I'm sorry. That sucks. And yeah, you'll have to figure out a weekly grocery meal plan. I don't really meal plan. It never works out. We never eat the things on the meal plan like we want to. Like, we do tacos once a week. I know that's going to happen. We do some sort of pasta dish once a week. so I know that's going to happen. But all the other things, we just don't know. Miss Violet, you want attention that bad? She hasn't gotten enough of her morning attention, apparently. Why don't you go bother that little boy? The little boy that's here. Your little boy. Alright. As always, guys, do what you can with what you got, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys!